But for the next 3 to 4 years, I will be actually. Hold up, come on, bro. For the next 3 to 4 years, we will be attending University of Maryland. Yeah!
For the next 3 to 4 years, I'll be deciding to take my talents to University of York.
That was Dixon Lee and Malik Washington, who were two of the several prospects that committed on our channel today. We will discuss why they have a connection with our very own Smoke Dixon coming up later on the show. Welcome to Unfiltered. I'm your host, Carl Reed.
And I'm Smoke Dixon.
If you're joining the show for the first time, get ready to be unfiltered. Smoke, tell them why they need to tune in.
Reed, they need to lock in to hear two football guys unpack the unfiltered truth about what's going on in today's college football ecosystem from the lenses of two former players, two former coaches, and a college GM. See, Reed, time to get unfiltered.
In today's episode, we will break down four-star cornerback Dixon Lee and quarterback Malik Washington, how they're connected to Smoke, and what they are bringing to the program they committed to. The hardest position to play in football. Smoke and I will debate if the quarterback position is really tougher to play than center. Toughest stadium to play in on Saturday night. Why it's always tough to get a win at LSU in Alabama. Who has the toughest schedule in college football this season? Smoke and I debate who will be out of the playoff race early. Let's get into it, Smoke. As you saw from the top of our show, several commitments took place today, and we decided to discuss two of the prospects that you have a tie to. Let's start with quarterback Malik Washington, who you actually recruited while you were the GM at Maryland. Tell us what Maryland is getting from this four-star and the number one quarterback in the state of Maryland.
Well, see, Reed, I like to unpack quarterback before we even get to what's going on the football field. Just his mentality, his leadership, just how he gets everybody involved in terms of when you walk into a room, Carl, you know that he is the alpha male. You saw even on his commitment, he brought in one of his teammates, Jaden Shipp, that's going to be at the University of Maryland too. So he understands the concept of we over me. This is the most impactful recruit that signed with Coach Loxley at the University of Maryland since Coach Loxley's return. This guy right here in the state of Maryland is making the needle move. And you might see some more of those Maryland guys stay at home just because of him. Explosive quarterback with the ability to make all the throws. And when the play breaks down, off script, he's one of the best.
Next up, Dixon Lee, headed to your alma mater, the University of Alabama. What do you like about this four-star cornerback?
Coach, when you see he's a savvy, smooth ball skills. For a tall guy, he's not an jerky guy. He gets in and out of breaks. Ball skills, unreal. And he's going to stay at cornerback. Might be a nickel. But, Coach, we said it all summer long. It's going to be a cold summer in Tuscaloosa.
Carl Reed and Smoke Dixon, I'm spitting fast. Now let's hit some heated topics. Yes, it's time for group chat.
Smoke and I have decided to let you in our unfiltered group chat so you can see what trending topics we discuss throughout the week and let you know what's really going on in the world of college football. And for the first topic, we will get into the hardest position to play in football. Now, Smoke, we've been going at this all week. I'm going to give you the floor first. I'm not going to interrupt you. I'm going to let you stay your piece. What's the toughest position to play in?
Well, go ahead and give it to the quarterback like most of your centers do, all right? So we can actually control and run the show like we do. Coach, listen, I'm going to break it down to you like this. When was the last time that you walked into a room when you were the head coach or position coach and said, you know what, we got to stop that center? No, we got to take away everything that this quarterback does well. If he's right-handed, make him play left-handed. Coach, he's responsible for all 22. He gets to the line of scrimmage. It's his job to kill plays, get you into the right play, sets the protection, and the ball hasn't been snapped yet, Coach. Then when he makes those tight window throws, you got to throw it to four guys that's trying to get to him, maybe 5, 6, or 7, it's an all-out blitz. Throw it into about an inch separation which is receiver, gives him an opportunity to make those throws. Make the one throw, which is rip it outside. The two throw over top of the first layer of the defender, or that three throw that you saw my man just do, drop it in the bucket. But coach, I've never heard of anybody talk about we need to do anything with a franchise center. When you look at it and you break it down, off the top, coach, guys that's been drafted in the 5 years, it's been 57 quarterbacks, 25 centers. Couldn't even tell you one of those guys. When you look at the top 150 players, when we break it down with our 247 rankings, coach, you got 3 centers and you got 57 quarterbacks. The number's not right. I have never in my life, and I don't think I ever will, if I ever get put back in the GM seat, to recruit a high school center. If you can't play center, the only thing that you're going to be great at in college, coach, is that training table. You are going to be an all-American guy that eats up everything in the freaking training table, because that's all you're worth anymore. Good offensive linemen, athletic ones, play tackle. The ones that can't operate on the island, play guard. And the one that everybody looks at, like, God, what is he going to play? Can't play defense, he's not athletic. Give him the ball and have him throw it between his legs and get it back to the quarterback. Now, see, Reed, I said a lot. So it has Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, the 50 millionaire guys, the 650,000 guys in NIL. That's where the starting point is. You tell me, how hard is it to throw a ball between your legs and beg for help? Because you got the floor for the Senators. My hands are up.
I still hate Jay-Z for telling you guys that numbers don't lie. One of the reasons that is so many quarterbacks getting drafted than centers, because centers are more durable, Smoke, and they can play the game a lot longer than those fragile guys that stand behind the pocket. But let me tell you a bunch of reasons why the center is the toughest position to play in football. Part of this group chat that we talked about this week is one of the greatest centers of all time, my brother LaCharles Bentley. Thank you. Multitasking. Nobody has to multitask more than the center, Smoke. The expectation, nobody expects the quarterback to complete 100% of his dump-off passes to the running back. But they expect the center to complete 100% of his shotgun snaps, which is a blind pass. Only the guard and offensive tackle have to block a defender, but the center has to block, make calls, make adjustments, and snap the ball. With the evolution of the interior defensive line, the interior guys of today have the athleticism of DNs of the early 2000s and the size of the D tackles from the late 90s. And with all that, the center position still hasn't really evolved. It's the least coached and the most miscoached position on the field. We see offensive tackles and guards that aren't getting developed. So what do we think is happening at the center position, Smoke? When you look at the NFL draft this year, the first center drafted played left tackle. The second center drafted was a converted D lineman. Cooper Beebe from Kansas State was a guard, and Dallas moved him to center. So on every level, the position is floundering, but the expectation that it has to be flawless play at that position, Smoke, makes the center the toughest position to play in all of football.
See, Reed, you just said it the best. Every one of those guys got converted into playing center. There's never been a center that's converted to play anything else. But listen, I've had enough. You said your piece. We'll have the people go to work and get with us in comments and let us know what it is. Let's go on to the next group chat, my man. And it is the toughest place to play on Saturday nights. See, Reed, my man, give it to me, bro.
I've been all over the country watching football games, Smoke, mostly with prospects that I coached in high school. I think the toughest place that I've ever been is LSU on a Saturday night. Les Miles used to say that Death Valley is the place where opponents' dreams come to die. You have the ground shaking on Saturday night. And if you've ever been to an SEC football game, the walk and the drive into the stadium is intense and it's immense. And don't you dare smoke, and you know this as good as anybody, don't get close to that tiger. Don't stick your hand anywhere around that cage. Win-loss record at home for LSU has been 27-5, 6-3 against top-ranked teams. An average attendance of 99,247. And if you've ever stood on that ground, it shakes. The noise is loud. It's impossible to hear the guy next to you in the conversation.
Coach, I could not disagree with you more. But listen, I'm 2-0 in LSU. Last time I was there, I dropped 31-0, gave Nick Saban that donut. But, Carl, it is the most difficult place to play. Period. But I got one that's better than that, Carl. I'm going to take you home. Come on down. Let's take that walk down the Crimson Road. We're going to go down to Bryant-Denny and get this one popping. Just as you see it, Carl, that walk right there is called the Walk of Champions. When you go in there and you see all of those rolling and we rolling tide and we coming out of there, and you see them lights go out and that crimson come in, and all you hear is Coach Bryant saying, all I want to do is be a winner. You coming out of that fail room, Carl, you don't have a choice but to take that L. Period. And when Coach Saban was there, Coach, the record, unbelievable. Forget how many that we fit 100,000 in there. They're going to say 99, Coach, but we had them all over the place. Coach, 11 conference championships, 7 titles, playoff record, 9-5. Coach Saban was a pillar in terms of success, but going into that stadium, he only lost 2 games, Coach, in the last 5 years. His record at home in the last 5 years is something crazy. To go in there, walk out the fail room, Coach, you're not coming back out. And when you hear that Dixieland Night and Sweet Home Alabama get played in that fourth quarter, you know the A's are coming out, then the chime's going to be rung, and you're going home with that L. Coach, we're going to go to the last one, Coach, in the daggone group chat. They've been blowing us up with this one, Coach. Inside and out. The most challenging schedule for the 2024 season. See, Reed, I'm going to go ahead and start this off, my man. I've been beating them up. I'm still going to keep on crushing them. Them Gators down there, Coach, the Sunbelt Billy, you might be home, like you said, for Thanksgiving for sure. But he's going to be trick-or-treating with somebody because that schedule early on is a beast. Coach, as you look at it, coming out, he got to go down there to the bottom of the map. He got to play in the bottom of the map, Coach. That's an L. Sanford, he's going to take that. He's going to take a W, and he's going to feel real good. Texas A&M is going to be a bear. He's going to have to battle. Mississippi State, he might have a chance. So you're giving him 2 wins. He's going to feel real good about himself. He's going to go down. He's going to see that unbeat giant down there in Central Florida with Cus Malzahn. That's an L. He's going to come to Tennessee. It's no tax state, but he's going to get taxed. That's an L. Kentucky's going to be tough to get out of there. Coach, the roadmap that he has going all the way through is going to be awful difficult for him. He's only won 5 games in the last season. He won 5. And the season before, he won 5. Never been to the playoffs. He haven't been over 500. And with this schedule right here, Coach, in the toughest conference, we said the Big Ten's getting close, but he's in the toughest conference. Not the best team. He might be home with that moving truck comes Thanksgiving. See, Reed, who you got?
Well, I'm going to tell you what, that Florida schedule is tough, but I think that the Oklahoma Sooners schedule rivals it in terms of toughness. When you're talking about games against Houston, Tulane is always a sleeper. Then you got to go a stretch with Tennessee at Auburn, South Carolina at Ole Miss. You get a week off against Maine, but you finish with Missouri, Alabama, and LSU. What an introduction to the SEC. This is not playing in the Big 12. This is a different level of football. Brent Venables, one of the great defensive coaches of our era, 2 national championships with Dabo at Clemson, and he's a foundational piece of the old Bob Stoops Oklahoma teams. But Bob didn't have to play in the SEC. He played in the Big 12. This is going to be a very daunting schedule for the Oklahoma Sooners. Now, his prognosis, I think, is much better than the one coming out of Florida. I think that Coach Venables is built for it, but he's going to have his team mentally prepared week after week. Their opponents have a huge winning percentage. Home games and away games, a good mix. A bunch of top 25 teams on the schedule. Some of the very toughest and loudest venues. And those back-to-back games against elite programs can wear on anybody. And you know as well as anyone, in the SEC smoke, there are no nights off in the SEC. You can lose to anybody any given week, especially when you got to go game after game after game after game. In the Big 12, you could play a couple games that may not be as hard, and you're going to out-talent a team. But man, Smoke, it's a real smoker for the Oklahoma Sooners and Florida Gators schedules?
So, Coach, early on this week, I think it was 2 days ago, Coach Venables got that extension. So, they feeling real good about Coach Venables in terms of his ability to get through this. It's Oklahoma. They're battle ready. They got a piece of the quarterback position. They got some guys outside. We talked about the ability to play up front. Their O-line is going to be perfectly fine. I think that schedule is tough, but I think they have enough veteran presence. They have enough guys around there to slow them down and get them through those rough times. You and I both know we've coached, we played it as well too, that you're going to go through a game halftime where you're down and you need that spark. I think Jackson Arnold can get that done. I think those guys up front can help get them through those tough times. We saw a couple of games last year where against Central Florida, you and I was watching that, when they were up and down, and they found a way to get it done. I just look at that Florida schedule, Coach, and man, somebody's setting him up. When I looked at it, Coach, I said that can't be real. Impossible to give Sunbelt Billy and that team that haven't won more than 6 games in the last back-to-back year, just 5 and 7, that schedule to go through and deem them being able to get to 500 and to get to 6 wins. But Coach, we're going to see which one of these coaches make hard look easy and get through it and get their teams to the playoffs.
Smoke, you know what time it is. It's time for us to throw our flag on things that don't sit right with us. Who are you throwing a flag on today?
Coach, I'm going to pull that flag out. I ain't going to throw it on you for talking about Senators today. I'm going to throw the flag on the world that's been speaking about Bronny James getting drafted. And I care less about basketball and that part of it. Shout out to Clutch, the James family, for making this a business. It's a family business. And when you're on business, don't matter what the game is, you'll create your own avenue. But I dare to say, the ones that are benefiting off of this, go check the Nebraska program. They got their #1 quarterback last year. I think Uncle is on that staff. Dad's on that staff. We didn't hear any rumblings of that. We need to stop moving this goalpost where it only pertains to somebody that you dislike or somebody that's making avenues for others. It's okay. Nepotism, all right. Everybody's been doing it for a long time. See, Reed, it's going to continue to happen. I just don't think the world likes seeing LeBron run the NBA. That's my flag on the play.
Smoke, my flag is this. There's a lot of recruits. I'm talking about the big boys right now. There's a lot of guys that hurt their recruiting and hurt the future that they have in football because they won't play on the offensive line. There's a lot of defensive linemen that aren't quite twitchy enough to play on that side of the ball, but it would change their career, their recruiting, their trajectory if they just switched sides and were willing to come out and block for other people. Now, Smoke, I know they want to wear the number 5. I know they want to come off the edge. I know they have dreams of being Warren Sapp and Aaron Donald and whatnot, but look at the way those guys run. You got to be really special and really athletic to play on that side of the ball. Big boys, come on home. Come to the O-line. And that's how you build the foundation to get your mother the house you want to buy her.
Call, great flag. But, when I was recruiting guys and I looked at defensive linemen, I always projected them to the offensive line side. And long as they were athletic enough, move, balance, and body control, you can push them in one direction. They center back themselves. Just check out the NFL draft. Whenever you run through those numbers, the average defensive line's time, if you take it over and push it on the offensive line with measurables, they're elite. Running a 4.9 or 4.8 as an offensive lineman, elite. 4.7, elite. Defensive lineman, that's a dime a dozen. Spit you right out. So for parents, coaches, if you have a big guy, push him over to that offensive line. Those guys are getting cashed out 20 to 30 mil at that tackle position, Coach. So just understand. Great point, Coach. A lot of these guys don't want to do it because everybody wants to wear skinny jeans and the wristband, and they want to look cute. Offensive line, you know how it is, Carl. Y'all go over there, y'all get bloody, move people around, and get it done. But, man, tremendous flag that you threw on the game.
Hey, we got a special show on Sunday, you and I. We're going to be here. We got another big commitment on our network. Join us on Unfiltered. Corey Sims, Christian Brothers College High School, in St. Louis, Missouri, is going to let the world know on Sunday at 4 p.m. right on our show whether he's going to stay home and play for the Missouri Tigers or whether he's going to venture out east to Penn State or hit the West Coast to the University of Southern California. Smoke. I'm excited to see what the young fella's going to do. You have just been unfiltered. That's it.